We all know when it comes to insults, Jimmy Kimmel can certainly dish them out, but that also means he's required to sometimes take them, even when he's on his own show. We'll show you 10 celebrities who insulted Jimmy Kimmel during their appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed to TheTalko for more videos. Let's begin. Matt Damon. The media gets a lot of blame for manufacturing dramatic situations and feuds between celebrities, but sometimes the celebs make them up themselves, like Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel. After one show which didn't go particularly well, Kimmel made a joke to a producer and said, "I want to apologize to Matt Damon. We ran out of time." According to Kimmel, he said the first celebrity name that popped into his head, and his producer couldn't stop laughing. Thus began a huge running joke involving Jimmy Kimmel having no time for Matt Damon, and spawned tons of hilarious bits between the two men. At one point, Damon decided to up the ante and have his friend George Clooney sneak him onto the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Damon introduced himself as a manny, or a nanny who was a man. When Kimmel protested that Damon wasn't a man, Damon replied, "That's not what your wife said." Instead of Matt, the manny, introducing George Clooney's twins, he showed Kimmel his two middle fingers. Although this may have been the peak of their hilarious feud, it's definitely not the end. Damon once crashed Kimmel's interview with Chris Hemsworth, and it seems like these two can't get enough of picking on each other. Sarah Silverman. Everyone knows that at one time, Sarah Silverman and Jimmy Kimmel were in a relationship. Although the two have moved on, there is a bit of occasional awkwardness there. But sometimes you need to reunite with your ex for the greater good, like when you're paying tribute to a beloved friend. Joan Rivers was a comedy icon for a long time, and was known for not pulling her punches when it came to her observational humor. In order to memorialize her properly, Kimmel invited Silverman on her show to pay tribute to their old friend together. And of course, they did so in the manner the late, great Joan Rivers would have approved of, by hurling insults at one another. Silverman started out by saying if Rivers was with them, she would have asked Kimmel if his tie was manufactured by Calvin Klein. She then complimented his shirt and asked if it came in men's. But when she said she loved his hair and asked where he bought it, Kimmel had the perfect response. He replied that he got it from Silverman's back. Trading insults with your ex is rarely a good idea, but it sort of worked out beautifully in this particular case. Caitlyn Jenner. Whether or not you're a fan, there is no denying that Caitlyn Jenner has been through a rough time, and most of it played out directly in the public eye. For a long time, we knew this star as Olympic gold medal winner Bruce Jenner, who then married Kris Jenner and parented Kylie and Kendall Jenner. Then things started to change, and many people weren't sure what to make of it. Of course, we now know that what we were witnessing was Bruce transitioning into Caitlyn Jenner. After her transition was complete, Caitlyn made the talk show circuit. When she appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Kimmel noted it was strange meeting her post-transition. Jenner took the opportunity to talk about her life now and discuss the challenges that she faced and the criticism she dealt with in the media. And then she loudly called out Kimmel for making jokes about her during this painful and difficult process. To his credit, Kimmel took the admonishment in stride. He admitted that he didn't really understand the situation when he made his ignorant comments, and he apologized to Caitlyn for his ill-conceived jokes. Although she seemed skeptical of his apology, Caitlyn did ultimately say that she accepted it. Lena Headey. If you're a fan of HBO's Game of Thrones, you might get a little bit nervous talking to actress Lena Headey. But when she appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, she didn't come armed with wildfire, but rather with a quiver full of insults. When her on-screen character, Cersei, isn't plotting, drinking wine, or doing both at the same time, she's dishing out scathing insults to everyone around her. Kimmel decided that he wanted the real Cersei experience, so he brought out some goblets and decided to trade insults with the famous actress. Kimmel is a comedian who regularly deals with insults and mean tweets, but even he wasn't prepared for how savage Headey's words were. The lights dimmed, the wine was poured, and the cruel comments commenced. Headey began by complimenting Kimmel's tie, but added that it was a shame it was fastened around such a useless neck. Kimmel tried to fire back a cheap shot about Cersei's choice of romantic partner, but Headey brushed it right off. She considerably raised the stakes when she stated that she would soon have Kimmel's tongue ripped from his throat. As far as comedy bits go, this one was a little bit intense. Don Rickles. Like Joan Rivers, Don Rickles was a beloved insult comic who had a long and distinguished history in Hollywood. As a fellow comedian, he was someone Jimmy Kimmel looked up to, and was a frequent and welcome guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Of course, there were tons of insults from Rickles to Kimmel on his show, but the thing about being insulted by a great comic like Rickles is it's really more of an honorable rite of passage than a demeaning experience. When Rickles passed away, Kimmel was devastated and revealed that he had considered Rickles a good friend. The first time Rickles took him to task back in 2006, he had never felt more like a legitimate talk show host. He would appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live 17 more times in the following year, and always brought plenty of insults for Kimmel. Don Rickles would delight audiences with tales of celebrities such as Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, while of course occasionally stopping to ask Kimmel if he could keep up with the story. He confirmed that he only makes fun of Kimmel out of fondness for him, but then followed that statement up by immediately suggesting Kimmel needs a nose job. Dwayne Johnson. He's hilarious, he can wrestle, and he's a successful actor. Is there anything Dwayne Johnson can't do? According to Jimmy Kimmel, there is one thing which Johnson is always trying to erroneously take credit for. There are plenty of fashion trends which people would be happy to leave in the past, such as slap bracelets, acid wash denim, and fanny packs. But Jimmy Kimmel decided that it was time for this peculiar pocketed pouch to make a comeback, and started to campaign to bring the fanny pack back. Although he wanted to claim credit for the revival, Dwayne Johnson just had to step in. He reminded everyone that he used to wear the heck out of fanny packs. Soon, the two men were embroiled in a bitter feud to claim ownership over bringing back a fashion trend which nobody wanted in the first place. When Johnson appeared on the show, the two men engaged in some trash talking, and Johnson insisted that he had worn the fanny pack both first and better. But he also made the classic mistake of bringing words to a fanny pack battle, while Kimmel remembered to actually wear his fanny pack. Although Johnson had started the challenge, he was then forced to concede his crown to Kimmel. Kanye West. Everyone in the world knows Kanye West can be something of a wild card when it comes to guest appearances. Not only did Kimmel agree to have Kanye on the show, but he did so following an epic Twitter feud. During one bit on his show, Kimmel lightly ribbed Kanye, who didn't think it was a laughing matter. He took to Twitter to voice how upset he was at Kimmel, and began hurling insults at the talk show host. Instead of being upset, Kimmel was thrilled, and claimed to relish in the deprecating humor aimed at him. He even joked about being in a rap feud despite not being a rap artist. Kimmel then decided to clear the air with Kanye by inviting him to appear as a guest on the show, and shockingly, Kanye actually agreed. The segment was intensely awkward, as Kanye was cold and standoffish the entire time, as Kimmel tried desperately to bridge the gap between them. At one point, Kimmel pointed out that many people think Kanye is a jerk, but Kanye didn't seem bothered by this revelation. Instead, he launched into a long diatribe, talking about how talented he is at various things, and being condescending at Kimmel for being just a talk show host. Howard Stern. It's probably surprising to exactly no one that Howard Stern insulted Kimmel when he appeared on his show. It's no secret Kimmel was a huge fan of David Letterman ever since he was a child, and Letterman had recently appeared on the show. When Stern showed up, he instantly started mocking Kimmel for the way that he was fawning all over Letterman in the previous episode. Letterman had given Kimmel some of his ties as a gift, so Stern picked out his own present for Kimmel. He proceeded to dump out a bag of underwear, socks, and shirts all over Kimmel's desk, and told him he brought him some dirty laundry. To anyone who doesn't know these two, this might seem like Stern was being over-the-top cruel to Kimmel, but the two men have a friendship and share a love of off-the-cuff and, at times, offensive jokes. Immediately after making fun of Kimmel, Stern moved on to talking about people he genuinely dislikes because of their horrific crimes, including Harvey Weinstein and Bill O'Reilly. Britney Spears. There are some celebrities, like Ellen DeGeneres, who we expect to see playing pranks on people. One year, Rihanna decided to pull an April Fool's Day prank on Jimmy Kimmel, and even got his wife in on the act. She burst into his bedroom while he was asleep in order to give him a private concert, which he definitely didn't request. Most people might enjoy being woken up to Rihanna singing and throwing money at them, but Kimmel was less than impressed. He hated the prank so much that Britney Spears decided he definitely needed an encore performance. Spears burst into his bedroom with several scantily clad male dancers and started to give a shocked Kimmel a private performance. Kimmel showed the prank on his show and confessed that although he does enjoy pranks, he mostly prefers them when they happen to other people. Larry David. One hugely popular segment on Jimmy Kimmel Live is when celebrities read mean tweets aimed at themselves. But on one very special episode, a band of celebrities got together to celebrate Kimmel's 50th birthday in a very special way. They collected the very best mean tweets about Kimmel and decided to surprise him by reading them to him. Although the celebrities took everything in good fun, Larry David may have taken things a bit too far. According to Kimmel, David simply couldn't stop hysterically laughing long enough to read the tweets. Kimmel noted he had never seen someone so so obviously delighted to insult him before in his entire life. While Kimmel took the insults in stride, he noted that his mother was rather perturbed by the entire segment. David in particular tried to read a tweet from someone who couldn't remember Kimmel's name, so Googled "ugly late night talk show host." He could barely get out the words because he was laughing so hard. Although he had tried to read several, he was simply unable to get the words out and produce usable takes due to his uproarious laughter. In a way, David's laughing was somehow more insulting and hilarious than the tweets themselves. What is your opinion about Jimmy Kimmel as a talk show host? Tell us what you think in the comment section and then click subscribe to get the latest from TheTalko. Thanks for watching.